All right, y'all. Welcome back, baby. We are here again in the ATL. The conversation I don't know, y'all are asking for more, and I'm here to give the people what you want. Marquez Burnett is back in the studio, and we are here to talk. Since part 2, interview, some things have transpired. Listen, I don't know everything. I'm not a magician, but the man is here. He's back. He's ready to talk and share because a lot of you had a lot of questions. Welcome, Marquez. Welcome back.
Thank you, Queen Sheba. Thank you for bringing me back. Definitely glad to be here. Thank you for the platform and the opportunity to continue to, follow my journey and tell my truth.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, listen, I just want to jump straight in. The last time we were here, we specifically talked about DCO.
Don't crash out.
Don't crash out. And you took your ass back home.
And crashed out.
And you crashed out. Let's pause. You should have wore your pause hat today.
I'm here today, honestly.
What happened?
Man, I for one, I had a lapse in, for one, judgment. I got out of character. It was a combination of a lot of things that have transpired, and I definitely wasn't in the right space to be communicating with my ex-wife via text. And I said some things that I can't get back, but I definitely deeply regret it. And I crashed out. I self-sabotaged myself in any progress that I had attained, but I also have been reflecting over the last few days in understanding that everything happens for a reason. And that sounds so cliche, but everything happens for a reason, because how can I have a don't crash out movement and then crash out and not fully. So now I'm self-evaluating, because I think trying to figure out how to take accountability and truly put it into my life and make it to where everything is better. That's where I'm at right now. Cause I definitely messed up, for sure. I crashed out.
Yeah, you did. And I'm here to ask the right questions so that we can make it make sense. Not only for you, right? As you start to be able to, develop a sense of self-awareness, number one. The truth of the matter, I think, is that the marriage is over. Okay? A lot of that back and forth was a lot of passion, a lot of toxic passion. Whether you agree or disagree.
Passion or pain?
Was it passion or was it pain?
I think it was pain, because passion to me, I think positive when I think passion. I think pain and resentment comes to mind. I think frustration. I think anger. I think, emotions. I let my emotions get the best of me, and it cost me, but it hasn't defeated me.
What led up to it? Walk us through. You don't have to go through every intricate detail. What happened to lead up to such a bizarre stream of text messages where you are, and I got to say it because they read it, where you are literally causing people to say, nigga, you okay? And you are literally coming across as if you intend, and I'm going to say intend, and correct me, and get in there where you need to, as if you want to do something to your wife.
Well, first I want to apologize to you, because I think at the very moment that we had this interview, I kind of went backwards on what we talked about. So I don't want you to think that I was coming here trying to put a mask or wool over your eyes and try to manipulate and play for my favor. I had a human moment, and I had a moment of frustration and toxic response, because that's what I've always been used to from her. But it's not about her. I think she texted me about some stuff. Mind you, we don't talk. And so what she texted me about was, what really set me off is when I came back into this situation to film this new season, the situation with Ken and I.
Keep it real.
We had came to an agreement to be cool. I felt like we had an understanding. So I put myself out there to say, okay, I'm gonna do this for the betterment of my children, and then do this TV stuff, and let's fix it, figure it out. Let's talk let's come together as men and help Trish. But then he it wasn't genuine. And then we go and then we have this altercation and it broke me.
Can I ask you to pause for a second?
Yes.
Forget protecting the network. Forget protecting everybody else. Tell your story. What happened? Take us from the front to wherever the text message landed, because it got to make sense. It's not to excuse anything, but at this point, you're all you have. Don't protect anybody. Tell the truth. What happened behind the scenes?
I mean, if we want to go back, obviously there has been a history between Ken and I.
Okay.
Kenneth. And there's history between my wife and their relationship and how they were introduced. And okay, cool. We got to a point where we got onto this television show, which is why we're here now. We went through our first stage of kind of addressing certain issues that we never addressed behind the scenes. It became a thing, a storyline. Mm-hmm. And then things got emotional off camera and started affecting with Ken and myself, where they.
Gotcha.
So there was a period in time where Trish and Ken were posting, putting pictures of my daughter and him hugged up, saying "real fathers, real men," just pretty much antagonizing, made me feel some type of way. So fast forward to a point where I got to where I felt like I wanted to. It wasn't getting nowhere. And then at the same time, Ken reached out to me, and we had a 5-hour conversation.
When did Ken reach out to you?
A little bit before Thanksgiving, right after the reunion. So
after the reunion, he reached out to you.
He reached out to me randomly. He called my phone, and he was kind of, started off a little shaky, but then it became a conversation where I felt like we started to have a breakthrough, because all I ever wanted from the beginning of this whole situation and while we're here is I always felt like Trish introduced this man to my children prematurely without having conversations with me or boundaries, and I didn't know him, and then we had already had prior conflict.
What was the purpose of him reaching out? What was the purpose of the phone call?
Looking back on it now, I question it. I don't know. At the time, I thought it was genuine. I thought we wanted to break through as men and kind of get away from this conflict on this television and kind of break through and realize that me and him are not the problem. We may have more commonalities than we think, and maybe Trish is the problem.
That's what y'all discussed.
That's what we decided.
What?
And we decided behind the scenes. I have the text messages where we decided, okay, we're gonna really come together and we gonna go and try to go after this counseling route with Trish and try to help her, because he was saying, like, man, I'm going through it. I see what you done been through. I know how she's affected you mentally too. So and then he just,
Wait. Ken reached out to you. Initially, you were hesitant.
For sure.
The more y'all talked, y'all decided as men to come together to clean this thing up.
Behind the scenes.
That's great. Because he started to realize, according to you, listen, we both seem like we have gone through the same thing with your wife. Let's take some positive steps as men and be an example. That's where you ended.
Right, which is what I always wanted from the beginning. When Kenneth decided to move in without my knowledge and move in for 2 months without my kids even knowing.
Gotcha.
That's the core of me and Ken's conflict and the issue between me and Trish. Not the relationship, not the cheating, whatever. It's you moved this man in because he was cheating on his girlfriend and got kicked out. And then you didn't tell my son nor myself that he was living there. But then when I asked you about it, he says, oh, he's paying bills. So, and I'm like, okay, well then, my daughter's there. Like I don't, are they that's why when I had those conversations
on camera,
I was asking, do you, I don't know y'all's relationship. Do you hug my daughter at night? Do you pray with her? I don't even know, because no one's informing me. Trish is very confrontational and does not want to talk about what's going on. And then we weren't really aware that he became a part of this family until 2 months in of him living there.
And I get that part. Take us from you and Ken having a mutual agreement behind the scenes. That would have been great on camera, by the way. You missed an opportunity for Black men to come together and really work on the family in the spirit of Black excellence. But that's neither here nor there.
And I went into it wholeheartedly. But
bring us from that to what happened on camera behind the scenes that the audience is not aware of. Was there a physical fight? I need to know that.
Yes.
There was.
And it was filmed. And it's on camera. It was filmed. I like I said, I'm not here to bash the network.
This is your story.
But I'm going to tell, you already know, Queenship, I understand. We want the truth, and we want nothing but the truth, so help me God. So let's take it from, let's go to this new season, right? I was brought back with the intention to be a main cast member.
But stay on the fight.
Okay.
Because we jumping.
Okay, but I'm leading us there. So we come back, we film. Me and Ken, we film our first scene together where we're with that. Let's come together, blah, blah, blah. We're working towards that on camera and off camera. And at the same time, we still communicate behind the scenes. I had gave him like $500 for my daughter and everything. Everything was great. It was for her dance. We were really communicating and getting somewhere. And then comes the next day, I'm living my real life. My daughter is there, and I want to pick her up from school. So I pick her up from school.
Pick her up from where?
From school.
Gotcha.
To take her to dance. But my son was supposed to pick her up. But I communicate with my son. So I was happy to pick her up early, take her to get her drinks that she has for dance. She had one for her friend.
Was this for the purpose of filming?
No, but I'm gonna get there because it leads. It's all leads up there. I have to explain the scenario. But I know you want to get to the juicy goodness.
We have to.
All right. So long story short, I took my daughter home. They were filming at the house. I did not know. I asked production, "Hey, if y'all are filming, I don't want to sabotage anything going on. I don't know what y'all talking about. Should I take my daughter somewhere else, or can I just drop her off real quick?" They say, "Oh no, don't worry, hold on."
I have a question.
What's up?
Was your wife aware that you were going to pick up your daughter?
No, I don't think she was. My son, I don't know if he told her or not. But I do that when I come in.
So
town.
that's no.
No,
you got to stay with me.
I don't know. I don't know if she was
you did
aware.
not communicate with your wife that you were going to pick up your daughter?
No, I communicate with my son.
No.
Yeah, so no.
Okay.
Meaning I don't know if my son told her.
But did you communicate?
No, I don't know.
Okay,
no,
I'm not trying to. I'm just.
No, I didn't because we don't communicate on that level.
Okay, no.
Anymore. No.
Okay.
Yeah. Long story short, Queen Shiba, I take my daughter inside. I drop her off. They're filming.
And they were not
upset.
aware.
And they were not aware.
Trish and Ken, that you were coming in.
Ken was not there. Trish was there with another woman that she were having a discussion about the divorce, apparently.
She was not aware you were coming. So.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
So production, they both kind of, I wouldn't say set us up, but they both allowed it to kind of happen. So my daughter has 2 drinks and 3 book bags. I don't want to allow her I didn't kind of want to go in because I don't want to sabotage anything, but I'm thinking we're in a good space because I spent Thanksgiving with them. I went to my daughter's birthday.
How could you be in a good space with somebody you don't talk to?
Because we were working towards that. She wasn't ready to talk. So I communicate with my son and communicate with Ken. So our relation wasn't negative. We weren't talking negatively, but because I was able to come to the house on Thanksgiving and come to the birthday party and we didn't communicate, but we can say hi. We're cordial, you know what I'm saying? But me and Ken were locked in and my son are locked in to make sure, hey, you don't really have to communicate because she's not ready. She even said it on camera, I'm not ready to talk about this.
But there's been previous instances in the past where you've come by the house. Did they know you were coming?
Yes.
This is the only time you probably did not communicate to an adult that you were coming.
No, because at that moment in time, there were times when we weren't cool where I communicated with my son. So I had pulled up before.
Okay. It's very complicated.
It's complicated because we were in and out of a not so good space to a better space to me feeling comfortable enough to drop my daughter off even though they were filming. But in hindsight, it was a setup because she was upset and she turned it into an opportunity to create a storyline.
When did you find out they were filming?
We were already filming as a whole, but I found out that they were filming at the house when I pulled up.
When you pulled up?
Yeah.
What made you get out the car?
Because my daughter has 2 drinks and 3 book bags, and I'm not going to let her walk in the house.
Okay, so you helped your daughter.
I'm not going to let her walk in the house while they're filming for her to say that I dropped her off.
Okay.
And for one, I questioned production to say, hey, do I need to take my daughter somewhere else until y'all are done? Because they were saying, oh, we're about to wrap up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, I asked before I even went in.
What did they say?
They said, oh, hold on, just wait. They called production. Production was like, well, since he's here, just be natural, wait a minute, and then just walk in.
Got you. You walk in.
And then I walk in and she's like, what the hell is this? I know y'all didn't. I'm finna shut this shit down type shit. And then I'm like, what did I do? And I'm like, I'm just trying to drop my daughter off. Are we good? And then she goes into a whole tangent about whatever she was having a conversation with this lady who's supposed to be her friend, it was a negative conversation about me, and she started going in about me losing jobs.
But I don't want to focus on that. What I want to focus on is when you saw her reaction. Do you understand how she could have felt that way about you coming in her house and her not knowing it? Just as a human being.
No, because we weren't in that space. Because if the cameras weren't there, she would have never reacted that way. Because all I was doing was drop my daughter off.
If somebody popped up on you, cameras or no cameras, and you were like, hell no, I know y'all ain't, would you be justified? You were like, in my house, follow me closely.
Yeah, I'm following you, but we weren't in that space to where I felt, if I hadn't spent Thanksgiving and we had gotten to a space where we were around each other more, I would have most definitely felt that way. But no, I didn't feel like it was intruding by helping my daughter into the house.
One last question. Not one last question, because I'm trying to follow.
I know. It's a lot.
I'm trying to follow. This is so complicated. How did it escalate to a physical?
Because they decided to turn it into a storyline, and they asked me to come back to film at the house.
So that day was fine.
Ken wasn't there. And so and I have the messages because immediately after I texted Ken and said, hey, I felt like they kind of set me up. Trish may be upset. Don't let this ruin anything that we have going forward as a man.
So that day she was upset.
Yeah.
You leave.
Yeah, she blew up on camera and everything. She showed out. So I left.
You left. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Well, my son came. They actually made him wait outside because he pulled up to actually get something from his room because me and him were supposed to go to dinner. So he was like, okay, drop Zaria off and I'll meet you at the restaurant. But then he ended up pulling up at home to go get something from his room, and then they told him to stay outside. And at the moment that me and Trish got in real intense conversation, they sent my son in, and he pretty much saved me. And he pretty much in real life convinced me to just leave and keep calm. Because
what was you doing up in there when you say he saved you?
Because Trish started attacking me and started talking about me losing jobs and some kind of like
verbal.
She started going in, and it had nothing to do with anything. Meaning like I didn't come in verbally attacking. I just said, "Excuse me, my bad. I'm dropping my daughter off. I can leave." And then I think it became I'm showing off for the cameras, because whatever conversation she was having with her friend, when I walked in, all I heard was divorce. So all I heard was her having this conversation about whatever they were saying. And I think for her, it was a shocking moment to be like,
she felt ambushed.
She felt ambushed. And I think production didn't know that I was going to drop my kids off or drop my daughter off. And so they went with it. Now let's get to the fight.
Hold on, you left. You communicated with Ken.
Yeah, absolutely. Right as soon as I left, I said, yo, I don't know what just happened, but I know when you come home, it's probably going to be some issues, and I don't want this to ruin anything that we have going on moving forward, because I understand.
What was his response?
No response.
Gotcha. How long later, it sounds like you were invited back to the house after that?
2 days.
2 days later.
They made me stay.
Who invited you back?
Production.
Production's under the guise of what?
They just said, we want you to film at the house, and they didn't say with who. So I was under the assumption that I was going to film with Trish and Ken, and we could talk about moving forward, not knowing it was an ambush to talk about.
Hold that thought, because I think I'm going to need a little bit of help with this conversation. Do you mind if I bring in a third party?
Absolutely.
You sure?
Yeah. It's one of my old ladies. No,
y'all give us a second.
I'm just playing, y'all.
We're going to go to commercial, and we'll be back. All right, welcome back, everybody. This is not a so easy conversation, because this is real life and real people that we're talking about, the reality of it all. And because of that, I kind of feel like I need an assistant coach here. Dr. Sarah Williams, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure to be here.
Can you run down a quick summary of your background and who you are?
Absolutely. I'm known as Dr. Sarah Williams, the celebrity therapist. I've been featured on numerous podcasts and news. I'm a medical news contributor. I work extensively with individuals experiencing grief and trauma, particularly individuals that work in high-pressure industries, such as the entertainment and media. They seek out my services because they experience a lot more of what those exasperated symptoms are as a result of their work environment.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time out to be here to assist us in this conversation. And let me be very clear. I sought out her services. Marquez did not, because I felt like that this is a very, very tough, complicated environment. I feel like you're a novice in the industry of reality television. And I thought, what great way than to bring in an expert. Let me ask you something. Is reality television a toxic environment?
Reality television is actually contradictory to the word reality. It is a simulation of what real life really is. Oftentimes in reality television, it's a constructive narrative, it's not always the true characterization of what the individual is. And therefore, they have to contend with their own identity versus their created identity.
Okay. Okay. Wow. I'm blown
that was
away.
deep.
How do you feel
Thank
about
you.
having her here?
First of all, I want to say thank you, Dr. Sarah, for even taking the time out to even have a conversation with myself. And thank you, Queen Sheba, for creating this opportunity, because I definitely have been saying that it starts with the actual conversations and getting the therapy, and today seems to be my first day.
Are you open to this conversation?
Absolutely. I've always been open, and I don't think I've pushed for it, but yes.
Okay.
Now I'm definitely more open to it now than ever.
Okay. Is it okay if I bring her up to speed where we left off?
Absolutely. Tell her.
Okay. Marquez
story's
crashed
out
out. Marquez crashed out. And after our last, and I'm just keeping it very short and sweet. After our last interview,
Well, let me tell it. First, let's start with, I want to apologize to, let's start with Trish. I want to apologize to Trish for the vile, nasty, the things that I said, without going into detail. I apologize to you. I apologize to my son and my daughter, her family. Rest in peace to all of her family. My family, apologize to myself, to you, Queen Sheba, for, you put me into an environment and we had some breakthroughs, and then I had a lapse in judgment. I crashed out. And when it comes to crashing out, I sent some text messages based on some conversations that we had, and they were vile. They was nasty. I mentioned things that, like I said, that led me to where we are now, which is they have severed ties with me for the show. So I won't be filming the next season.
ooh,
Based on, Queen Sheba. So I've, based on my actions, which I understand wholeheartedly and fully, that it became a liability. So my one lapse in, I guess, judgment has set me back, which has not been able to allow me to continue my narrative, as well as my interview with you. I was told that they did not want me to film moving forward based on my interview with you and telling my story, and giving them more information than they were able to film. And then out of the same day that your interview dropped, the text messages were sent. Were leaked somehow, and the network says they don't know how, but the messages were, it doesn't matter. That's not the point. I said what I said, and I shouldn't have did it, and I apologize. The words, but I'm here to really, when we say accountability, that's what keeps ringing in my mind. What does accountability mean for me? And I needed that crash out moment to really showcase what's to come, and to showcase that I can come back from this, because I've been attacked on all sides, and I've been feeling defeated. Been feeling like nobody's listening. And then, we had this situation where I got into a fight with her boyfriend on camera.
I don't think she knows.
The whole point is we backtracked from a thing, from us moving forward as a co-parent and as a unit, and now we're here. I'm suffering the consequences.
Marquez is married. You guys are in the process of divorcing wherever, but his wife also has a boyfriend who's filming on the show. They're all filming on the show. The husband, the boyfriend, the wife. Okay. Let's pause. This is a lot. That's why I needed your help. I hope I don't cry. This is a lot. I don't even know if I could film like that. Now that I'm really taking in, he crashed out. Sounds like there was a physical fight before your crash out. Am I getting the timeline straight?
Right.
On set?
Right. We had a breakthrough as a unit. I felt we had a breakthrough.
But was there a physical fight before your crash?
The physical fight occurred before the crash out.
Okay.
But that fight led to the crash out.
So there was a physical fight. There was a crash out. We're here today. We had already done 2 interviews. Now, am I hearing you correctly? As a result of you interviewing with me, and as a result of the text messages that you sent, you have now been released from the show.
Yes, they have ended my contract, and
Okay.
they told me to take a year, get counseling, and potentially they may, come back to me. But they specifically said because of my interview with Queen Sheba and me telling my story before they were able to capture it, they felt like there was nothing for them to film.
Okay.
And then the text messages obviously sealed the deal.
Okay. And you filmed with them prior
I
to
filmed
interviewing with me.
5 episodes
5 episodes.
for
And you
this next
also
season.
interviewed with other blogger.
I interviewed with one other blogger outside of the Carlos and Dr.
Okay.
Heavenly interview.
This is your introduction to whatever's going on. What are your thoughts? And
It's a lot to unpack. It seems like it's overwhelming. It seems like you are the individual in this space that has experienced this, unfortunately, when someone has been victimized. And I know that being a male and that word or that classification of being a victim is hard to accept. But oftentimes when victims, they reach out when they are not being heard. For you, crashing out served a purpose. Unfortunately, it occurred at a moment when, and it was orchestrated, that had very negative consequences. But I hear you say I was not being heard. I hear you say that pretty much that you felt that there was some things that
There was
occurred.
a narrative put out about
the
me.
narrative, right.
That wasn't true.
So let me just explain a little bit about, and I won't go too deep.
Okay.
I don't want to be too textbooky. But when you are in reality television, our brain is not constructed to understand the experience of being in reality TV.
Okay.
So if you experience some type of shame or humiliation in real time, it happens one time and you can kind of move forward. But on television, it just keeps going.
Every day, all day, it's in my inbox.
It's a running tape.
Yeah.
And it's repetitive. It's like being victimized over and over and over again. And you actually need to have a supportive system in place, i.e. a psychotherapist, like I offer clinical consultation to production staff about how to emotionally handle their cast so that we don't crash out. And now we're starting to see, unfortunately, the backside of it, which is what happened with you. There was a fight. There is a complex family dynamics. There are children involved. And unfortunately, as a victim, in most workplace environments and toxic workplaces, the victim is the one that's terminated, not the perpetrators. Now, your text message warranted some type of consequence. We know that.
Yes.
They were very bad. His
Yes.
text
The
messages.
text messages were bad.
There's no excuse,
Right.
I've been. That's what I've been
Right.
sitting here. I never spoke to her in that way. We've had, regardless of what she said to me at that moment in time, I was vile. It was evil, and that wasn't me. It was I would crash out, yes, but it was a breaking moment, and it was triggered just by everything because I thought we had came so far, with this going through the first phase of filming and then kind of coming together, and then boom, it was this, and then it's like my son and my daughter had, like, it was just so much on me to where I didn't even care at that moment, and what I said wasn't true. Like, I would never hurt her.
But you do understand that if you send that type of text message to somebody, they don't know if it's true or not.
Well, yeah, and
You do understand
absolutely,
that, right?
yeah.
Okay.
So there's no excuse for what I said, but
Okay.
I know me. My son knows me. People know me. That I know I didn't mean it, and I apologize sincerely for even. But it happened, and it happened for a reason, and I'm here to figure it out and understand. I'm listening to understand.
Your transparency and your willingness to accept accountability for your actions really speaks of your interest in making sure that this is a healing moment and a learning and a teaching moment. But there are two things that I want to mention. One is we can think about making threats towards someone else. Let's talk about Black men and mental health for a second. When you hear Black men say, I'm going to do whatever to you, they really saying, I'm saying this to you because I really feel like doing it to myself. I really feel like in this moment, I'm so hurt that I'm acting out. And there's no space between myself and my anger. When you get to a point where there's no space between you and your emotions, you can't reflect, you can't discern appropriate actions, your decision-making is impaired, and the brain has just left the building, and the emotions of the anger have just taken full course. The other item I wanted to mention was there's been a consistent pattern of what sounds like betrayal. I'm hearing you have a narrative of feeling like you were betrayed, like they betrayed me in this way, and I'm not really that way, and it's like I'm defending my character. And I thought we made progress. I thought that we had come to a conclusion, and then you discovered it wasn't. For you, that's a betrayal. All of us have these items that make up what are important to us, and for some of us, keeping promises, having integrity, having respect, not being betrayed, not being lied to. Those are things that for you are vital for your human existence. Let's go there. Excuse me. Let's talk through those tears. Don't wipe them away, because this needs to happen. This needed to happen to help you minimize the pain of why those text messages went out. What you feeling? Let's hear it.
I just felt like we had turned the page. I set my pride aside to work with her boyfriend. And I felt played because I truly gave it, like, the tea, like, all of that, I gave it. Like, I relinquished all of those years of anger because of that. And then we get into this altercation, and my son and my daughter have to watch it, and it just set me back. And it just broke me because it was like, damn, they really don't care. And I feel betrayed because this is somebody I grew up with. We had a really good understanding, even despite like our shortcomings and our things like that. I thought we were really friends, to where nothing could come, but I see that she's hurt, and I don't know exactly what I did, and I'm searching for that. But I feel like we did all this for what? And that's what I'm searching for now. Like, what did we do this for? I didn't ask to be on this. People be like, oh, well, you did it. But I did it because I was trying to defend a narrative that I was not aware of. They didn't tell me for 2 months. My son told me he felt uncomfortable. He said, Dad, they're asking me questions as if you're not there. And I was right. When they came out, it was nothing but about negative things, and that wasn't the case.
He said he wasn't aware that his family was filming, and there was a narrative being developed about him.
For 2 months, she lied to me. She told me it was a dance. She got me to sign it, and then when I found out what it was, cool, I prayed on it, I thought about it, and then I went into it with an open mindset. I went into it with the idea of, okay, this is a new opportunity. I went into it with a protective mode on her and our family, but then not knowing how vicious and how much they don't care, and they had already had a plan for me based on them not even doing research or even asking me any questions. Or asking my children. Why don't they ask my children if I'm a good dad or not? Where does it come from? And these are my babies. And I'm not crying for no sympathy. It's because I'm trying to hold it together for them. What else do y'all want me to do? Like, they say, oh, you supposed to work. They're like, bro, I'm sacrificing. Y'all, I don't expect people to understand me. But I need people to understand that whatever is being said, it's not true. I'm here to figure it out. I want things to be better, but yes, I feel betrayed. And it breaks me. I made this sacrifice on purpose, but not knowing that it would lead to all of this. So now I'm just trying to navigate it.
Okay. And trying to navigate.
And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to cry. Like I said, I'm not doing nothing. I can't help it, man.
Wait,
My
now
mama
wait.
raised
You
me.
can't apologize for crying.
Because people always be like, "Oh, you crying?" Like I can't help it. It's like because I can't do what I really want to do.
Go ahead.
And it's and what I really want to do is not good. It's not good at all. And that's where the crash out. Like even though those texts, yeah, I sent them. I meant them in that moment.
Take a deep breath.
But I didn't. The core of me did not mean it. It was just I was lashing out in a way of like, this is how she tried to hurt me, so I'm gonna say it to her, and not understanding why this is happening. That's where I'm at. That's where my tears come from, because I don't understand why this is happening.
Is there a point where reality television is just too much? Dr. Sarah?
Anytime, particularly if children are involved and there's a manipulation of basic core human values, the boundaries have been crossed, the lines have been crossed, and we are facing now additional crises when it comes to our media and our communication. And of course, when there's betrayal, it always started with trust. At some point, trust was the origin. You can't be betrayed by someone you don't trust, correct? However, if the other parties make decisions to be uncharacteristic and to violate the trust of someone else, doesn't that really make them kind of on the negative end of the spectrum versus the individual that was innocent and just not aware? Because you didn't seem to have an awareness of what the plan was. You were not a part of the, for lack of a better word, the conspiracy as what you've described. And it's, you keep wanting to find a rational reason. You keep mentioning, I'm trying to figure out why. I'm trying to figure out why. And what if that why doesn't start or end with you? Like, individuals react, they treat other people the way they are wired to treat other people, irregardless of how you are set up. The best thing you can do is be the best you, whatever that means. Because I see somewhat of a reliance on gaining the approval back of somebody that maybe is not either capable or not ready.
Pause. That's a lot. I don't want you to respond to that right now. I want you to take it all in. That's a lot. I needed your help so bad. I feel like we're going to have to continue this conversation. I think we're just getting started. And we promise to come back with this. We want to give Marquez a moment to process. We want to give Dr. Sarah a moment to become more familiar with the situation. And we're going to continue this conversation in the spirit of Black excellence. Dr. Sarah Williams, Marquez Burnett. Thank you, everybody. Stay tuned.